G'day and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life. And Mark V GTIs are absolutely everywhere in New Zealand. Dual clutch ones, manual ones, modified ones, completely bone stock ones. But what if you want a Golf GTI, but you want something a little bit different, preferably a sedan from a slightly different manufacturer? Well, this is the car for you.
It's a Skoda Octavia VRS. It features pretty much the same engine and transmission as the Mark V Golf GTI, with the same amount of power. The interior is much the same as well, with the same components, just trimmed differently to match the Skoda's grey interior rather than the GTI's black interior. The only real difference is that the Czech equivalent is slightly more ugly, but in a kind of cool way, and a lot more exclusive for a lot less money.
The engine is identical to a Mark V GTI. It's a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It makes 147 kilowatt or around 200 horsepower. Quite a lot less than the 540i I just finished reviewing, and 280 newton meters of torque. It's naturally going to the front wheels through, in the case of this, a 6-speed manual transmission, but you could also get it with the classic Volkswagen 6-speed dual clutch. The interior is also very Mark V GTI. The window switches are identical. The gauges have that Skoda flair with the numbers that sort of rotate around the outside, almost like an aeroplane gauge. The infotainment system I actually quite like, just plain infotainment systems that just have physical buttons that respond immediately to your inputs rather than waiting for a stupid touchscreen to do something for you. And the climate control knobs, again, it's pretty cheap plastic if I'm honest. It's far from the nicest interior space. Transmission is a very light throw. Like, you can move it with like one finger. But the good news is it's not too vague. It's reasonably easy to find where all the gears are. The steering wheel feels nice with the classic sort of 2000s perforated leather. It's got nice aluminium pedals. They've put some sort of extra little bits of sort of fake alloy trim throughout the interior. The seats have a decent amount of bolstering on them and the little VRS logo on them as well. Overall, I think Skoda has actually done a pretty nice job of sort of pumping up the standard Octavia interior from this era. The only downside with it really is that it is pretty plasticky and pretty boring to look at overall. But now it's time to see how the Skoda Octavia VRS drives. Driving the manual Skoda Octavia VRS. It's funny actually, I've just got out of an E34 540i and then getting into this, I reckon this actually rides better. I mean, this is, you know, far from like a 5 Series, it's almost kind of more like a 3 Series sort of size car, and I guess a cheaper price point at that. But this thing actually rides really quite well, but it still has that kind of sporty flair to it. And while you can't really hear much of the engine, oh yeah, it's quick, eh? Really quick, and holds on to the boost actually quite nicely. Like when you shift, it's just like straight back on the power, eh? There's no real turbo lag. It's, you know, as expected, a kind of boring sounding engine. But you know, if you wanted to overtake anyone, be easy peasy in a car like this, and it's such a nice amount of power where it just doesn't feel slow. You're like, oh yep, oh we're getting on the move. See how the handling is through here. Reasonably easy to heel toe, which is nice. Although the engine sort of takes a little bit of effort to sort of get it to rev up in typical, you know, small turbocharged 4-cylinder fashion. It's not like an NA engine where it's just boom, this thing you kind of have to kind of get it to rev up a bit. But it handles nicely, steering feels really good. And it does rev, you know, it goes all the way to 65. And a decent turning circle, very good turning circle actually. It spins around really quite nicely. Oh yeah. Yeah, that scoots, eh? It's pretty good. And it is a really good car to drive. Great torque, it zips around really nicely. The fact that it's manual is really cool. To think somebody bought this brand new and they went, yep, I want a manual Octavia VRS. You know, it's pretty cool. It's quick. The gears are reasonably short. Handles, super nice, eh? Really great. Through these sort of long swooping corners. Just immediate torque to push you out, not too much body roll. And then over this little hill here. Whee, up into fourth. Yeah, now this thing's really good actually. Very good car. And you know, people can say what they want about VAG group cars, but like, this is great. Right to 65. What a very good open road car. Like, this is why I like sedans. They just hold the road so nicely, and if you can get one with a manual, they are fantastic to drive, eh? This thing's really quite good. Just the road holding, the ride quality, the quietness on the open road, the stability that you get with like a European car. And then look, it sits at like 2,000 RPM on the motorway. It's great. So if you want a manual VAG group car with the classic 2-litre turbo with some sort of performance elements to it, this is certainly something to consider. And I actually think it's aged quite well. When they came out, they were pretty ugly, but now I actually think they are really pretty decent looking cars. So add it to your shopping list, and I will look forward to seeing you again next time.